On my birthday this year, when checked my account balance, I laughed. Not because I was rich. When glanced through my phone, no calls, no messages lighting up my screen, just my phone, a dim room, and that quiet kind of silence that sits heavy in your chest. I kept unlocking my phone, not because I expected anything, but because I didn't want to admit that I wasn't expecting anything, not even a piece of cake. And that hurt more than anything else. Living in Lagos doesn't give you space to feel sorry for yourself. The city doesn't slow down just because it's your birthday. Traffic stretches like it owns you. Bills don't wait. Pressure doesn't ask if you're ready. Everyone around me seemed to be moving forward. I had plans too. Big ones. But somehow, after all the hustling, after all the late nights and early mornings, I was still here. Same room, same struggles, same next month will be better promises. That morning, I checked my account balance. I stared at it for a long time. It wasn't even enough for a proper birthday meal, just something small, something to remind me that the day meant something. I almost smiled, not because it was funny, but because it wasn't. I opened my phone and started scrolling. Bad idea. Pictures everywhere. People at restaurants I couldn't afford. Friends gathered around tables, drinks raised, captions like, grateful, blessed, God did. Faces lit with the kind of happiness that comes with being celebrated. And then the comments, God when? Next year is my year. Mine is coming. Some of them were my age, some even younger. That part hit harder than I expected, because it made the question louder. What am I doing wrong? I didn't have an answer, just silence, and that question repeating itself in my head like a broken record. I couldn't stay inside anymore. The room felt smaller the longer I sat there. So I got up, grabbed my keys, and stepped outside. Lagos hit me immediately. The noise, the heat, the movement. Okada riders shouting for passengers, conductors calling out destinations like a race, vendors pushing past each other, voices blending into a loud, endless hum. Life didn't pause. Not for me. Not for anyone. For a moment, I just stood there, watching, and something about that reality settled in my chest. Maybe the world has never been designed to stop for anyone. Maybe the only person who can pause for you is you. I walked to a small roadside food spot. Nothing special. A wooden table, a metal pot, the smell of rice, oil, and pepper floating in the air. I ordered a small plate. As I sat down and started eating, I noticed a boy, maybe 10 or 11 years old. He was helping his mother serve customers, carrying plates, running back and forth, wiping his hands on his shirt, laughing with customers like he belonged there. No complaints, no tired face, just energy. At some point, his mother looked at him and asked, "Why are you smiling like this today?" The boy didn't hesitate. "Because we sold more food than yesterday." That was it. No big achievement, no celebration, no applause, just progress. And somehow that meant everything. That moment didn't just stay in my head. It stayed in my chest. Because suddenly I realized something I had been avoiding. I had been measuring my life with the wrong scale. I was waiting for arrival, waiting for success, waiting for something big enough to justify feeling good. But in the process, I ignored every small step I had taken just to stay standing. I forgot that surviving Lagos alone is not easy. I forgot the days I didn't give up, the times I kept going even when I was tired, the quiet efforts nobody saw. Progress doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes it looks like just getting through the day. That night I went back home. No distractions, no music, no scrolling, just me and my thoughts. I didn't try to comfort myself this time. I tried to be honest. Am I consistent? Am I improving? Or am I just hoping things will change without changing anything myself? The answers weren't comfortable. I had been waiting, waiting for motivation, waiting for the right time, waiting for things to magically align. But discipline doesn't wait. Discipline moves whether you feel like it or not. And I realized I had been avoiding that truth. That same night I made a decision. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet and real. I will do better. Not when things get easier. Not when I feel ready. Now. I picked up a pen and wrote down simple goals. Not big dreams. Simple actions I could actually control. Wake up earlier. Work with intention. Stay consistent. Stop waiting. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel lost. I felt clear. The next day didn't feel different. No fresh energy. No sudden clarity. No motivation rushing in to carry me through. Just another morning. My alarm went off, and I snoozed it. Once, twice. The same habits were still there. I still opened social media before doing anything meaningful. Still got distracted. Still felt that familiar pull to do nothing and just scroll. But something small changed. I didn't give up on the day. That was new. Before, one bad start could ruin everything. But this time I stayed in it. Days started blending into each other. Some days I showed up fully. Some days I barely did anything right. But I kept returning to the process. Again and again. Slowly, almost unnoticeably, things began to shift. I became more aware of how I spent my time. I caught myself wasting minutes I used to ignore. I stopped complaining as much, not because life got easier, but because complaining didn't help me move. And when I started something, I made sure I finished it, even when it wasn't perfect, even when it wasn't impressive. Money didn't suddenly appear. Opportunities didn't rush in. Nothing about my external life changed overnight. But internally, I wasn't in the same place anymore. And that mattered more than I expected. Now it's been months since that birthday. And if I'm being honest, I'm still not where I want to be. Not financially, not in achievements, not in the big picture, but I'm also not who I used to be. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not panicking about that. Because I've learned something I didn't understand before. Life doesn't transform in a single moment. It changes in direction. In the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching. In the small habits you repeat when it feels like nothing is working. In the days you show up even when you don't feel like it. That birthday didn't give me success. It didn't magically fix my life. But it woke me up. It forced me to look at myself, honestly. And maybe that was the real turning point. Because sometimes the most important thing you can gain is not money, not recognition, but awareness. And from awareness, change becomes possible. If you enjoy the story and want more stories like this, subscribe to the channel at Africa Folktales, Movies and Storytelling.